Daniel Sports Central being over 5 reasons why the Alabama Crimson Tide are once again going to win the national championship in the 2021 through 22 season, and why this team is going to continue to be the most dominant team of our era. And this team is on the verge of winning their 6th national title in the past 10 years. This team is an insane dynasty right now in college football, and I don't see any sign of that stopping anytime soon. Why that is what we're going over here today, and these reasons will be in no particular order. That being said, we're going to go ahead and get started with your number 1 reason, which is going to be Nick Saban. By far, this has to be a huge reason on this list. And really, until Nick Saban retires or leaves Alabama, which is looking like not anytime soon, this team is going to continue to be a national contender year in, year out. I mean, if you look at Nick Saban, he continues to have major recruiting classes. I mean, he's always in the top 3, top 2. I think he had the best recruiting class for last season, and it looks like that's going to be a big possibility for this season as well. So, until Nick Saban retires, I mean, get used to it. Alabama's going to be a national contender for sure. He has a major recruiting advantage, huge success with recruiting. I mean, if you look at the success that he's had in general, like he's won 6 national championships, 2009, 2011, 12, 15, 17, and of course last season as well to boost the resume there. So Nick Saban continues to be an outstanding head coach. I'd probably argue that he's the best head coach of all time. I mean, Nick Saban, he's won 6 national championships in the past 11 years. Like, that is a short time frame. And I mean, once again, he's not even that old yet. I mean, he's still got a lot more years to go. So Nick Saban, don't see any sign of him retiring anytime soon, or for Alabama for that matter, losing any games, or being at a downside anytime soon in general. Number 2 is going to be the talent depth on Alabama. This team has definitely got some of the best depth in the country year in, year out. If you look at their depth chart right now for 2020 to 2021 and how many players this team is losing, this team is losing a lot of players. Like, if you look at the depth chart here, this team is losing Mac Jones, Najee Harris, Patrick Surtain, Devontae Smith, the Heisman winner. This team is losing a ton of talent going into the 2021 season, but that is not a concern for me, because if you look at Nick Saban and the recruiting that he continues to bring in and the players that this team continues to get, I mean, this team is going to be just fine going into next season with the players that they got. And plus, this is going to be a younger team next year. There's no doubt about that. Like, this team is going to be much younger next season in comparison to this season, but this team has got a lot of talent just from recruiting in general. So the depth is looking great for Alabama, and even though this team is losing, once again, 4 outstanding players as listed there with Mac Jones and all them, this team is going to be just fine, I think, with who they got. I mean, they got Young, of course, coming in at quarterback. We'll go over him in just a second, but this team has definitely got a lot of talent going into next season. They will be a younger team next season, but that is not a concern by any means for me. Number 3 is going to be Bryce Young. Quarterback, looks like for next season, he's going to be the starting quarterback for Alabama. And really, Nick Saban has already said this offseason over the past month that he's already made excellent progress this offseason, which that is a huge, that is a great sign for Alabama here, because if you look at the quarterbacks that Alabama's had in the past few years, I mean, Jalen Hurts, Tua, Mac Jones, this team continues to bring in great quarterbacks year in, year out. And Bryce Young is going to be no exception to that. I think he's definitely going to be a Heisman contender. I mean, he's got the exact same pattern as the other quarterbacks that Alabama's had in the past few years. He's hardly played for Alabama quite yet. I mean, he did play a little bit last season, but he was a former high school 5-star. If you look at his rating there, that is an outstanding rating. Like, that's out of a 1 rating. .9994 is what his rating is going into next season. That is about as high as you can get. I'm pretty sure he's the 2nd overall recruit, the 2nd best recruit for his 2020 class. So, yeah, Bryce Young is no joke. He's going to be an outstanding quarterback next season. Watch out for him. This is going to be a scary player. He's going to be a true sophomore this upcoming season, so if he ever gets injured, he still has that red shirt year in his pocket there. So that's going to be a big thing for Bryce Young there. But once again, Nick Saban has said he's made excellent progress, and I think he's definitely going to be a player to watch out for next season. If you're watching out for any player in college football next year, Bryce Young needs to be on that list. 4 is going to be the experience on the Alabama side, and really on both sides of the ball, this team has got an outstanding amount of experience, and coming off of a national championship as well. That's going to be huge for this team moving forward, because if you look at any team in general who is just coming off of a national championship, they usually can use that to their advantage, and it gives them a lot of momentum going into the next season, which for Alabama here, I mean, that's how they've been so good over the past few years, is once you can win a national championship, it's usually all up from there. And we've seen that with Clemson as well. Clemson has had a ton of success over the past few years. Obviously, LSU, they were kind of an exception to that. But of course, for Alabama here, this team is coming fresh off of a national championship, and the players that are coming back from last season going into this season, they've got the experience of a national championship, which is huge for any team in general. And really, I mean, Nick Saban in general brings as much experience as you need I mean, he's got as much experience as anyone ever has in college football. He's won 6 national championships. We already went over that, but Nick Saban is an outstanding head coach, and he's really a huge reason why Alabama's had so much success. And I mean, he brings a ton of experience to Alabama in general. And yeah, this team in general has had 3 national championships over the past 6 years, which is an outstanding ratio there. That's 3 out of 6. That's basically half of the last 6 years we've seen Alabama win a national championship. So that just shows how outstanding of a team is, or how outstanding of this team is year in, year out. Number 5 is going to be the secondary, the defensive secondary for Alabama, and the defensive secondary is definitely a position that could be a huge threat going into next season. And really, I mean, of course, they are losing Patrick Surtain, but otherwise, this team is returning Jobe, Wright, Battle, Moore. They're all coming back. So this team is going to be really good in the secondary next season. They are losing quite a few players. If you're looking at the defensive line, they're losing a couple linebackers as well. But, I mean, I'm still not concerned about that. But the secondary in general, this team is returning a lot of players from a national championship team from last season to this season. And the secondary in general, I think, is going to be really a position to watch out for going into next season. This team is going to be, the defense in general is going to be outstanding, but especially the defensive secondary is something you really got to watch out for there. Anyway, that being said, though, that wraps up my 5 reasons why Alabama is going to once again win the national championship game next season. I would like to hear your thoughts in the comments below on Alabama. Will this team once again win a national championship? I think it's definitely possible. This team is definitely going to be a top 5 team in the nation next season, especially if Bryce Young is healthy and can remain a good quarterback. But once again, I appreciate you guys all watching. If you enjoyed the video, slap a like on it and subscribe as well, as it really helps with the channel, and I really appreciate that. But once again, thanks again for watching. Stay tuned for more from All Sports Central. I'll see you guys all later.